Hello, 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 you gorgeous human beings. It is me, Susie Ashworth, author of the Sunday Times bestselling book, Infinite Receiving, and it is day 21. No. It's day 22 of the 75 Hard Challenge, and it's also Christmas Eve. So it's Christmas Eve 2025. So whenever you happen to stumble across this video, this is the context of which I am recording. I am in a very reflective space already as we enter into this holiday period. I have officially clocked out of work. And I'm thinking about 2025 and what a roller coaster of a year it has been. And I'm also already thinking about 2026. And it's super interesting to me that there are certain themes that keep coming through, that keep presenting themselves to me that I know are going to be absolutely fundamental to well-being, mental health, business growth, and also thought leadership. Those things are really important to me as we move into this next year. And so I wanted to share with you what I am going to be focused on in this next cycle around the sun, what I will be teaching my clients about and really creating content from. I think that these 4 pieces of the puzzle are going to be absolutely fundamental to not just the next year, but will lay the building blocks for what it is that you're creating in years to come. And as I say that, I realise that that might sound a little bit glib because that's what we are always doing, right? Like everything that happened yesterday impacts how I show up today. And whilst it is not the determining factor of what is going to happen today, when you bring a level of intention to how you're living on a day-to-day basis, the compound effect and the ripple effect of that intention is felt. And when you move through the world unconsciously, the lack of intention is felt. So, as I said, I've been thinking about what is going to be crucial. We are going through such a rapid change in this world. We've never seen anything like it in our lifetime. And that means that we are going to have to show up in a way that we have never done before. Because everything that we're moving into is unprecedented. And that can feel scary if you're not anchored. And it can also feel like an opportunity if you are rooted in self. And so the things I'm going to share with you are all about that rooting in, so that you're able to feel safe in the eye of the storm, you're able to feel safe in the face of uncertainty, and you're really stacking the odds in your favour to create something spectacular, irrespective of what is going on around you. And as I say that, I love the fact that you will hear repeating themes if you come and listen to these videos on a daily basis. And you know what? That's really, really good. It's really, really good. I know I keep harping back to the fact that I'm reading Infinite Receiving at the moment, and I am amazed on a daily basis that what is happening in my life, what I am coaching clients on, the questions that they are bringing into Voxer, in my mastermind, in my one-to-one, directly relate to the page that I am reading every single day. And what this tells me, aside from the fact that it's a bloody good book. But the information, I talk about us living in unprecedented times, true. And the information that we need to succeed is here. You've got access to it. And I'm reading my book at the moment, but I will go on and read other people's books. And much of the texts that I go back to, they are books that have stood the test of time for a reason. So even though some of my messaging is going to be harder hitting over the next few months, and maybe it has been in the past as I talk to you about what I foresee our future to be. And for some people, depending on your practices, depending on the work that you're doing, it might feel a little bit intense. But my hope is, and what I want you to know about me, is that my commitment to self is to always catch myself if I'm ever leading from fear. Because you can never get the result that you desire, in my opinion, when you lead from fear. I always want to be leading from a place of power, even if the circumstances around me feel a little intense. And so every time I call you to look up and out at the world in a different way, I want you to understand that what I'm inviting you into is actually the first fundamental, which is sovereignty. And what sovereignty means for me is the next level of self-leadership, being willing to lead myself day after day after day into that next level of leadership, into my next level of expansion, into my next level of potential. And in order to really lead yourself, there's a commitment to be creating more than you're consuming. There's a commitment to creating space to think about the things that you need to be thinking about, so that you can have a inner dialogue, and then also really push yourself to think critically. And I say push yourself because I think that in the world that we live in, with the algorithm as it is, if I search one thing, I am going to just be fed that one thing, that angle, again and again and again and again. It's so easy to put yourself into an echo chamber and just feel like everybody thinks like that. And so when it comes to really leading from a sovereign place, you're actually going to need to create space to investigate opposing opinions. I think that has never been more important than it is now. So that you're able to tune into what your intuition tells you, understand what the opposing views are, and then decide where you sit. Decide why you think the way that you think, and be able to have that dialogue with yourself. It doesn't really matter what everybody else is saying. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. But this is about you being able to have a critical conversation with yourself, so that then when you do choose to communicate which direction you are moving in and why you think people should enroll into your way of thinking, being, doing, why they should listen to the frameworks that you have, you're going to be able to stand really, really firmly in your opinion because of the critical thinking that you have done, because of taking time to have that internal dialogue. And it's really, really easy, the way that the world is set up right now, to get completely distracted with the noise from everybody else. You can't do that in 2026 if you are going to thrive in 2030, if you are going to be ready for 2027. So sovereignty, that's the first piece of the puzzle. The second piece is authenticity. So there is a part of me that is going to look back at this series of videos and be like, oh my God, why didn't you put your makeup on? Why didn't you get yourself all dressed up? Why didn't you put a show on? And look, we might get organised enough to do that on a daily basis, and we might not, and it doesn't matter. I would argue that in a world where it is becoming increasingly difficult on the internet to spot the difference between the AI generated granny and the real granny and Barbie and an influencer, when your first question is that real? Understand that your willingness to be more human than you have ever been, for people to be able to feel you in your imperfection, is going to become one of the most valuable currencies that you have to trade. When you have, we've been using filters for years. And when you see the level of manipulation that people are now applying to their photographs so that they can be their AI twin, it's like, for those of you who have the courage to be human, to be seen, to show up imperfectly, you are going to be felt by your people. I always talk about when I first started out in business, and when I first started out business coaching, I focused on working with baby business owners, pre and postnatal specialists, and I was teaching them how to make their first £1,000 online. That was real. That was my truth, my authenticity. I had done that. I had learned how to do that. I could do that with my eyes closed, and now it was time for me to teach other people who had been in my niche, people who I understood their money mindset, I understood their fears, I understood their desires, I understood online, and I understood building a brand, and I understood online marketing to the extent that in that first year, I was able to make my first year of business coaching, which is not my first year of business, which I made minus £14,000. But in my second year, after I started sharing with people how I built my brand, my hypnobirthing brand, we made £126,000, and then the year after that, £225,000, purely focused on that baby business niche. I could be real. And what was really interesting is that people were saying to me, this content, this could help everybody. And what I knew is that if I took it broader, I would get lost in and amongst everybody else who was trying to do the same thing. Yes, you might be able to make an AI twin. Yes, you might be able to shave 10 years off your face and give yourself a tiny waist, but everyone's doing it. And if everyone's doing it and you jump on that bandwagon, you will get lost. This is why the sovereignty piece, the self-leadership piece becomes so important. Self-leadership and authenticity, the willingness to be human. Don't get lost in the idea of efficiency and perfection winning, because whilst you are a human in a human-to-human business, whilst you are building a personal brand where people have to engage with you, the most powerful thing that you can do is let people know who you are. The third piece of the puzzle is C, community. This acronym, by the way, it spells SAC. This is where we're going with this. Sovereignty, authenticity, community. Whew, this is really, 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 really big. And the people who understand how to build community will be rewarded again and again and again and again and again. Because, again, as more and more people step out of real life interactions into AI companions, as more and more people get lost in their phones, being able to bring like-minded people together and be able to, for coaches, so full stop, being able to bring like-minded people together, tick. Understanding how to build community, tick. When you are able to lead that community, when you are the point that is the magnet that brings everybody together, that is great for you. It is great for the world, and it is great for business. So committing to understanding what it is to make community in 2026 more important than ever. And what I will say is that community comes from connection. Community comes one person at a time, usually. Well, always, actually. And of course, the more you can accelerate the speed at meeting that one person and that one person, that one person, that one person, the better. And it's okay to start with where you are. If you haven't got a community of 25,000 people, it's okay. Really valuing the people that you are bringing into your world. When you have 1, when you have 3, when you have 5, when you have 16 views on a video. This is going to be everything. So community. When you're a coach and you can build a community and then layer that in with deep personal transformation and then group transformation, here we've hit the Holy Grail. Because people are feeling more disconnected than ever. You know, the World Health Organization says that we are in a loneliness epidemic. So when you can bring people together and then help them heal their trauma, that is a skill set that cannot at this stage be replicated by robots. So when you understand how to do that, that puts you in a uniquely powerful position. And then the 4th C in this acronym, it's boring. It's boring. It's really boring. It's consistency. Consistency is going to be important in 2026. I mean, arguably, it's always been important. My invitation to you is to put it at the forefront of your mind, because it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I don't know what to say. Oh, I can't be bothered. The reason that it's more important, in my opinion, now than it has ever been is because we are going to be looking at a wildly different world in 2027. So if you put the groundwork in now to understand what you want to be known for, how your message gets to help people, building a community around that message, which you're only going to be able to do when you show up consistently. And I don't want to say it. I mean, look, I don't know whether I'm going to be doing these videos all year, every day. I've committed to the 75 hard challenge period. I do know that I'm going to be doing weekly live streams on YouTube come 2026. That will be fun. And I don't know whether I will swap out daily videos for weekly live streams. I'm not sure. But I do know that you will be punished if you do a day here and then take 3 days off and then come back a day. I know that showing up and having people know when you're showing up, whether that, ideally at the same time, but hey, The commitment for me is just to show up on a daily basis. So that's what you get. You will be rewarded for that. So my question for you is, as you enjoy this limbic period, time in between times, look back at your 2025 and ask yourself, where did SAC show up? Ask yourself, what would you have done differently if you had been viewing your year through this lens? And then when you think about 2026, ask yourself, based on what you've learned from 2025, what are you going to double down on that will really support SAC? What do you know that you are going to have to completely eradicate from your life, from your business, based on what we've just gone through? And then I would be asking myself just very explicitly, when I think about my goals for 2026, how do I incorporate SAC into making those goals inevitable? I am really, really curious to hear what you're working on. So I would love for you to share. I'd love for you to share any takeaways that you've had from this. Was this helpful? If you have liked it, do me a favour, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. We're in such early stages here, and there is a part of me, I'm not going to lie, that thinks, Suze, what are you doing? You've got 25,000 followers on Instagram, and you're spending time every single day speaking to like 10, 15 people. And I want to say I am so grateful for those of you who are showing up and being here on the journey with me. And this is almost like a test to myself. Can I do it? Am I willing to do it? Yes, I'm doing it for me. And I love being my own best testimonial. So here's where it starts. So I really appreciate you being here, one of the first. I would love it if you could share with me, like, what are you taking from this? And as always, I will be back tomorrow, and I invite you to take action, because it's faith plus action that equals miracles.